Hey everyone, welcome back to Automation and welcome back again to a regular video. So I showed off my car in the last video and I figured why not try to recreate it in Automation. So here we are. Let's make a 2003 Infiniti G35. Yeah, exactly the same spec as my car. So I've got a spec sheet for this and I'm going to go based on that and what I know after owning the car for as long as I have, which is 3 years. I haven't done much to it, as I said, but we'll go based on what a stock version is like. So we're going 2003 and I've selected this body for it. It's not perfect, but I think it's as close as we're going to get within reason, of course. The body's much older, but it doesn't really matter as long as it looks right. So obviously the big thing to note is that this is not going to be exact. I mean, immediately looking at this, you can tell it's not going to be exact. Those fenders alone are way too big, but I'll give it a try. I'm hoping I can morph those a little bit, because if not, I may end up having to switch the body to one of these ones up here. These ones don't really look good though, to be honest. So let's get some important things out of the way. It's probably, I'm pretty sure it's steel. Let's make it corrosion resistant steel. Just costs more money, that's about it. The chassis is monocoque. The chassis material will make it corrosion resistant steel again. If it weighs too much, we'll amp it up, but for now that's fine. Okay, so I took some time to look into it, and I think that the front on these cars is double wishbone and the back is multi-link. That could be incorrect, but I'll go with that for now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, so obviously I need to make a brand new engine. This is going to be a VQ35DE. That's the one that's in my car, I'm fairly certain. So let's go ahead with that. 60-degree aluminum. Oh yeah, here we go. With the specs here, it doesn't actually specify whether or not it's a 60-degree, but I'm fairly certain it is. It definitely is aluminum though. Both the cylinder head and the actual block are aluminum. So let's go on to the displacement. Obviously it's 3.5. The bore is 95.5 millimeters, so let's crank that up. And the stroke is 81.4 millimeters, so that should give us a very nice 3.5 liter. Now it's a dual overhead cam. I'm pretty sure it has 24 valves, so that would be 4 each. Okay, so I know this engine has variable valve timing, but I'm not sure if it has variable valve lift. That's something I should probably know, but I don't. So I'm just going to leave it where it is for now, and we'll put on the timing portion. Okay, according to the Wikipedia article here, it's got forged steel connecting rods, so that's over here. Micro-finished one-piece forged crankshaft, so we'll give that forged, and forged here as well. It says low-friction pistons, but it doesn't actually say what kind they are, so I'm going to assume that they're forged as well. And then I think that'll be that. The compression ratio is 10.3 to 1, so we'll crank that right up there. We'll have to come back to this, and yeah, it's got VVT, so we'll give it that too. No turbos, simply not allowed on a V6. Well, these cars are actually pretty good supercharged, but turbocharged? Not really. Okay, so injection, yeah, we've got nice injection here. I was at one point certain that it was multi-point EFI, and I think it's still that. I'm fairly certain it is. I don't think these cars are direct injection, at least not in 2003. These cars do have a performance intake pretty similar to what the 350Z looks like, if you've seen one of those. It's actually so good that it's almost not worth swapping out for a cold air intake, because it's the one that you're getting off eBay is probably not as good as the one that came from the factory. Although that's kind of a general rule of thumb anyways, but yeah. I run premium gas in my car, that is 95, and yeah, we'll come back to this stuff in a bit. I think the RPM limit is 6,500 though, pretty sure. Yeah, my engine obviously, being a 2003, it is not a rev-up engine, so that's what it is. Let's give it tubular headers, although I'm fairly certain it's cast. Actually, I haven't looked at my exhaust. I did the spark plugs in my car, but I didn't have to dig too deep down there. So the cars are a bit weird. Later in life they had dual exhaust. Mine actually has single. It's a bit strange that they do that. I'm not a fan of it. And we'll give it the necessary components here to actually be road legal. I'm just assuming there, just a quick guess. But my goal is to make 260 horsepower, and we are not even close. It would be great to get it within the rough fuel economy as well, of like maybe 10 liters per 100 kilometers overall. Personally, I average about 8.5 maybe, but that's because most of my commute is highway, so when I'm driving in the city, my fuel economy sucks. Okay, so immediately we're having knocking issues, which means the fuel is not high enough. So let's turn that bad boy up. We're gonna need as much fuel as we can get. These cars are not light sippers, they are drinkers for sure. That's a pretty sweet 20% fuel efficiency though. I'm doubting that we'll be able to hold on to that. Okay, so it seems the single exhaust was kind of screwing me a bit there, because we are now up to 237, which is a lot more respectable. That's way up there at the top of the RPM range. The car actually makes peak power all the way down here, so I'm gonna have to start changing things up to get there. Like, getting to 260 is actually pretty easy. All I have to do is turn up the cam profile and it's like, boom, done. We'll just leave it right there, but I kind of want to tune it a little bit better than that, so I'm lowering the cam profile down and hopefully gonna be knocking down that power peak, and then maybe we can do something else with it here. Well, I tried to keep the cam profile as low as possible and I'm up to 261. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to be just fine for what we need here. It's not perfect, but it should be okay. No warnings either, which is quite nice. It seems like everything else is nicely sorted as well. So 260 horsepower seems about right. Also, I'm way down in the torque figure. Apparently this car makes 352 Newton meters at 4,800 RPM, and yeah, I'm not even close to that. Alright, with the engine done and plenty of mistakes made, I think it's time that I make a lot of mistakes in terms of the style of the car. Now, I know what it looks like, generally speaking, but I should probably pull up a reference here. Let's pick this body right here, and oh wait, never mind, hold up. Back we go over to the sedan. Let me see what I can do to tweak this, because it's not looking great. It does look like a Dodge Neon right now. So I'm pulling in these fenders as much as I can, but we are going to have fenders. I guess that would be a desirable option if the G35 had those, but it just simply doesn't. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not too outlandish. Let me go ahead and paint it the silver color that my car is. It's, yeah, just basically silver. Nothing special. Okay, there we go. That is a silver car with silver rims and chrome badging. Chrome trim is what I meant to say there. That's basically what I've got. It's not perfect again, but I think it'll work out just fine. These fenders are really throwing me off, but other than that, the shape is not too bad, except for maybe all of this. Well, we'll try to fake it in with some fixtures and see what that turns out like. And if I really don't like it, then I'll switch to another body, but here we go, front end first. Alright, so I'm going to do the grille because obviously I think that's pretty important. Kinda gotta nail that, otherwise things are just going to look wacky, or more wacky than they already do. Okay, so I just put this grille in here, and the only thing I can think of is Cadillac. Not sure how that happened, but here we are. So the headlights are going to be complicated because I don't really think there's anything like that in here. Even with the mods that I have, so either we go modular or I try and make my own, but probably a mixture of both. Oh my goodness, it actually really looks like it. Like what the heck, that is uncanny. Just kidding, it's horrible. Okay, that's not too bad. It really does look like it's crying right now. It's probably not crying as much as I am, but yeah, here we are. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that's a thing. It does indeed have lights now. Not sure that's a good thing though. Okay, so with the modular lights, I need to make my own lights out of them, which means we're going in here or into some of the other light possibilities in this area to try and figure out what is going to make the most sense for this. Although, again, it's probably just going to be the most simple solution, i.e. a lot of these. So these cars have 3 lights. Basically there's one here, and then there's one here, and then one up here. Oh no. But yeah, I've got to make those a little bit more proportional. So this one shrinks down, and quickly we can change the lens, if I can find the lens, to be orange, just like that. So now we have the turn signals. We need to make these ones bigger because these are the main lights at the bottom. So we'll put that there. There we go, that's G35 headlights in a basket case. Perfect. Alright, so we don't have an Infiniti logo, but instead I'm just going to use my own logo if I can find it. It's in badges, I always forget. You know what, my own logo kind of sucks in there. Let me make something different. From this angle, I'm really getting like Audi TT vibes. Not sure why. Oh, it's so hideous, but it's like very vaguely resembling the actual thing. Anyway, let's see if more parts can save it. I've got to put a bunch more pieces on the front here. Okay, so this doesn't make any sense, but I think it's actually going to work out quite well. Believe it or not, I was thinking about this as I was driving home today, that if I made my own car, it has a black plastic panel that goes all the way around the side of it. So I want to do that here. So it's black, it's plastic, and it coats the entire car at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to flip it around so it's like this, which means the car kind of has a built-in side skirt that it doesn't really have, but it actually looks kind of cool like that, so I'm going to leave it. I'll do the same thing around the sides and the back as well as necessary. Now I realize that my arrow could get incredibly screwed up because of this, but I'm just going to leave it as is, mostly because it looks kind of funny. And you know what? It's not that bad. It's the little touches that matter, and in this case, they are quite little touches. But let me find some wheels too. Let's pull this thing together. You know what this looks like as I'm trying to choose wheels here? It really does look like the Saints Row knockoff version of a G35. Like, that's exactly what it looks like. Okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit and put the wheels on the car for real, and this is what I got. I'm trying to go with 6-spoke wheels just like the ones that I have, but yeah, that's a lot trickier than it seems because the wheels that I've got options for here just really don't match at all. So yeah, this is what I've got so far. Might change that, might not, I don't know. Hoping to change it though, really hoping. Okay, the rest of the front needs some work. I've got some vents that I need to put on there. There are quite a few vents in the front, and then we obviously need a license plate and a little bit more trickery as well with the lights. I actually, again, I actually really like the way this is going, but I've already spent like half an hour just on the front end, so it's gonna be a while here. Okay, so these vents are a very particular shape, and they also sink into the car a decent amount, so this is not going to be as easy as I'd hoped it would be. Okay, so here is the front end I've come up with. This is pretty similar to my car, actually. And actually, this one has Ontario plates as well, which is cool, so we officially have a workable front end. That took a while, but it's good to be done. Not really done though, I just noticed I missed the little indicators here. Okay, I'm good with that. I think it's time that I added a few other little pieces here and there, including but not limited to the slight bump that's in the hood. I don't know if I have any slight bumps anywhere, but I'd like to put one on if possible. Okay, that was shockingly difficult, and the light on it is just really whack as well. So hopefully that turns out okay in Beam, but yeah, that is kind of what this car looks like. It does have a little bit of a bump here, and there's also one here by the lights, but that's not going to be easy to replicate. Let me see if I can actually do that though, just while I'm thinking about it. A lot of little details to try and catch here if I'm going to do this right. Okay, that looks really, really bad, but also kind of good at the same time. If I fixed this, then it would still be way off, but shockingly close at the same time. If I widen it though, will it work then? Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna keep that. Hold up, I gotta do some adjusting here. Okay, it looks a little janky from the front end, but yeah, that's shockingly good. It almost looks like a CTS now, but we're getting those body lines just right. So the mirrors on this car are quite small, quite annoyingly small actually, but I think these kind of fit them perfectly. It's unfortunate though because the shape is correct, but these are supposed to be black plastic. Just the little details that I don't like to miss, but here we are anyways. That's a better looking car. So this car does have a sunroof. I don't know about these sunroof pieces. One time I tried to use them and they just didn't work in Beam at all, so yeah, I'll just leave it as glass transparent and hope for the best in Beam, but there we go. Door handles, kind of important. Probably shouldn't miss these, as I have a few times. So the ones in this car are pretty simple. They're actually more like this, but they do have, well, one of them has a keyhole, the other ones do not. I'm actually going to do this. On my car, the car alarm goes off if you try and use the key, so it's a great safety feature. Okay, I decided to switch it up to some different ones, but I think this is as close as we're going to get within reason here, so that's fine with me. There is a little trim piece that goes down the side. It would be great to be able to replicate that. So I'm just going to do it real quick right here. It's just body colored, nice and easy, and nice and down the side as well. Starts right about at the front door. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. I just went back and made these black because they're not actually chrome. They are black, but it's chrome around the outside. A little bit tricky to do. Moving on though, I have spent a long time on this. Let's put a gas cap on it. It's got one of these, and it is on this side, I will confirm. I just got gas today. Alright, the back end. Now that is a whole other mess, but let me just make sure I've got all the stuff on the front. Yeah, from a distance, if you're squinting and you're in Saints Row, that does indeed look like a G35. So the plastic trim continues around the back, and basically the entire car. So that should be that. Although, hold on, I think I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on this. It doesn't quite look right. Honestly, I think it would bother me if it didn't fully complete here, so that's what I'm attempting to do. Just kind of blend it in. That actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe I can fix that corner a little bit. And voila! Plastic around the entire car, just like IRL. Okay, so the logo that I used on the front was this little thing here. It's kind of an infinity symbol-ish thing. I didn't want to make my own. Maybe slight laziness, but at the same time, this one works out just fine. So we'll make that a little bit bigger and put it right in the center on the back. And then I need to spell out Infiniti in spaced letters down here. That's going to be tricky. It's also all caps, so hold on a minute. Okay, the big problem though is the lights. Once again, they are not easy. They are going to be quite tricky, in fact. Let me see what I can do, piecing together some pieces back from back here, or potentially just making more custom ones, because, I mean, in the end, they're all custom. Okay, these are pretty close. They're actually not that far off. If I can make those work, that would be great. Okay, immediately they're refusing to work. Time to crack the whip. But these are pretty much the right shape. I guess I'll just have to make my own though. Okay, I'm a bit of an idiot and I just realized that you can add glass to the front of the lights, so I've done that and the car looks way better now. I'm going to do the same thing on the back, but I'm just going to be making my own custom ones once again. Again, with the theme of Saints Row knockoff. I've got this pretty wrapped up here. I think these just need to be a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, and that angle is a little bit weird as well. So if I can drop that down. Yeah, okay, time to add all the other stuff. Okay, so the lights on the back end are tricky because they are barred lights on this car. There are quite a few of them as well, so I think, well, hopefully I've got some LEDs to work with, and it looks like I might, unless these are just decorative, which they probably are. No idea. Okay, so I see two possible ways of doing this. Either we fake it or we do it for real. The faking would involve putting these and then having them line up, like maybe something like this, where they're sitting in there, and they kind of just look like they're LEDs, and then we'll put a red light behind it. Or I actually take the time to put out each individual one, which is a lot more work. So I'm trying to think about how I want to do things, but this is what the car looks like right now, and I gotta say I'm pretty pleased with it, so I might go ahead and put in the effort here and try and make this something real special. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I think that these are actually lights, which is gonna work out nicely for me. I've already went ahead and duplicated this like 500 times though, so say goodbye to that. At least I know I've got options now. But yeah, there you go. Just more of these then. Okay, so I'm making these without the glass because it just makes it easier to see them. That's basically my reasoning, and then I'm going to color these things afterwards, but there you go. That's kind of what the backlight looks like, kinda. It's supposed to have 3, but I'm actually going to do 4 just because this car seems to suit it a little bit nicer. It just needs a little bit more space filled in there. And then, yeah, gotta come up with something for this massive top end here. Okay, so here is my modular taillight. That honestly took forever, but let me just quickly slap some glass on there, and you can see it kind of blends in a little bit better. And then because the taillights on this car are entirely red, unfortunately I can't make the surrounding area on them red, but we can make them red like this, or more like, I think this one probably works the best. So there you go, kind of hidden, a little bit secretive, and yeah, it looks pretty reasonable. The top end on it is way too big, but I think I kind of like it. I'm very interested to see what that looks like in Beam, or if it even works. No idea. Now I've just got to quickly translate that over here and spell out Infiniti and also G35, and I think that might be it for the design. That's been a long design process, but you know what? I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it's okay. Okay, I think I'm going to call that done right there. No, just kidding. I'll actually try and fix that. Although, yeah, the car is almost done. It's almost there. Getting close, worrying a little bit, but you know, it's almost done. We're getting there. Just got to spell a G35 after, and I think I'll be good. So a long time ago, Consider taught me the best trick to place this kind of stuff. Basically, just grab, I don't know, where something that's square or rectangular. Grab one of these, put it down, and then center it pretty much how you want it to be. Line that up approximately, and now you can fit all your letters inside of it, and then hopefully then they'll be semi-straight at the very least, and then you just remove it afterwards. That's it. Oh my goodness, it's finally done. Holy, that took a while, but here we are, the Infiniti G35 knockoff edition. Man, oh man, that took a long time to do. But I'm actually kind of impressed. Maybe not so impressed with this bump here, but everything else is looking pretty clean. It's looking pretty slick. Just a couple of details missing, but overall it's not too bad. And yeah, surprisingly good, I think. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Obviously the wheel arches are looking a little bit strange, and the general shape of the car is questionable, especially this back end here doesn't make any sense for the actual car, but it's okay, that'll work. I think it's time that we moved on to drivetrain after all that. Man, oh man. So I already did a little bit of this just because, oh wait, I forgot exhaust, hold up. Okay, there we go, now it looks right. After all that, forgetting one thing. Anyway, I probably forgot something else. I think that's everything though, I think that is everything. Okay, so it's going to be rear-wheel drive. My car is an automatic, but it's an advanced auto, so I'm going to give it that. What is this warning? Okay, fine, I don't really care. Top speed of this car is, I believe, 230 kilometers an hour, so we'll put it there, and we'll probably adjust that as needed for wheel spin, but you know what, we could leave it as well, not a big deal. Spacing and stuff we'll come back to. And moving on, I already did the tires and stuff. I'm giving it sports compound. The stock tires that this comes with is 215s. That's what I have on my car with 17-inch rims, and I put a lot of offset on there so they look a little bit nicer. Otherwise, it's just a little bit plain. And then this is the actual tire size right here, 215 55 R17s. That is the actual size, so we'll leave them just like that. That fills out the wheel wells quite nicely, and it makes the wheels look a little bit smaller. They were looking a little bit big before, so that's much better. Moving on, the car has vented discs. I forgot how many pistons, but I'm going to assume it's 4 on both. And I also don't know what the size of them is, so we'll just make them bigger. I know the back ones are smaller. Aerodynamics, this thing actually does have a semi-clad skid tray. The whole undercarriage here is covered. Seating, that is the proper seating. It is a premium interior with a, let's say, premium CD. Mine came with a 6-disc changer, although it broke because it was Bose. Driver's aids and safety, I think it's hydraulic steering in this thing, and it does have ESC and ABS and all that stuff. And then advanced safety as well. It's got side curtain airbags and all that jazz. Suspension, okay, this is where things get a little bit more tricky. Mostly because I don't really know. I'm pretty sure it's just springs. So let's leave it at standard springs. Let's call it adaptive, and we'll just say it's wait wait a minute now. Yeah, I think that's fine how it is, just like that. That's a really good family sport premium car all of a sudden, and fun premium as well, which makes sense for what this is. At this point, I have recorded this car for longer than any build I've done in the past year, I think, and I'm not even on BeamNG yet, so I've spent a lot of time on this, and I don't think that shows. No, it's got a lot of detail. So let's just make sure we finish this off right. Also, I forgot to paint the brakes. I'm gonna paint them black. Just nice and simple. But yeah, with a sport preset, that should drop it down just a little bit. That's looking a lot nicer, and the graphs overall looking pretty sweet. Can't really complain about that. But let's go back to the drivetrain. No wheel spin. Shocking. Everything over here seems fine. Brakes are a little bit small, so we'll increase the size of those just for practicality's sake, but overall it's okay. And we actually do have aerodynamics, mostly because it has a bunch of wings on it. That's what all the plastic trim is made out of. But I kind of like that. It's kind of interesting, so we'll go with that. And everything here is looking pretty reasonable too. That is good. It's actually 99.3% sporty, which is great. I think I might have made something that's actually decent for once. And overall, there you go. That's the Infiniti G35 with a VQ36DE under the hood. Let's go try this thing out in BeamNG, see what it's like, and I don't know, drive around the city with it. That's pretty much all I do anyways. Okay, so I know that the automation portion of this video has probably been very long. Either that or I cut a ton of it out. One or the other. But I gotta tell you right now, this car is ballin' in BeamNG. It is excellent. Shockingly good. I'm very impressed. I think that I've done some good here, and I want to show it off just a little bit for you. And then we'll call it a day here, because my goodness. So a couple of mistakes that I made. I didn't change the textures on these lights, so they turned blue because BeamNG doesn't have them. That badge should probably be a little bit higher. And well, this looks like an Audi, I've just noticed. But also the back end here, the backlights here are sticking out and they shouldn't be. But other than that, everything else turned out okay. I'm pretty impressed. And I'm especially impressed with the way that it drives. So let me just give you a taste here. It's the VQ gang, only in BeamNG. I gotta go rev my engine outside of a retirement home now. Oh yeah, no, it sounds great. I personally think it sounds excellent. But anyway, let's go for a rip here. We got ESC on, so we can't really do much of a rip. But yeah, I gotta go slowly over. Oh, never mind. Okay, quick reset later, and I'm back in the game. But this VQ engine is spot on. I think the lack of torque that we experienced before definitely shows a little bit, but I wasn't really sure how to get that without going for some quality spam. Overall, though, the car drives well. It drives realistically, I think, and it seems to be pretty good, like in terms of handling, in terms of drivability. It just seems to be good, surprisingly so. I haven't driven something this like balanced in a while. It's not crazy power, it's pretty realistic. I actually spelt Infiniti right on the back, so that's a bonus. I kind of hesitated there a little bit, but you know, I mean, I see my car every day, I should know how it's spelled. That being said, overall, pretty impressed. I've got some ideas for this, and I have some things I want to do with it as we move forwards here, including but not limited to turning it into a silhouette car. I know that sounds a little bit nuts, but we do have fenders here, and we have the ability to add even wider ones, so why not attempt to make something ridiculous? Also, now that I have a VQ35, I keep thinking 36, which doesn't make any sense, but 35, yeah, now I can put that in other things. So we can have Infiniti powered cars of all different shapes and sizes, and we can see what that looks like, just like real Nissan. But yeah, overall I'm thoroughly impressed. I'm very happy with it. If you want a copy of this car, by the way, just ask me in the Discord. Just at me at some point, and I'll send you a copy, or I'll post it in the new card or in the new video discussion or something. I want other people to experience this one because I really do think that it's quite good. Usually if it's bad, then I'm like, I probably shouldn't share this because then people will see all my flaws. But yeah, this one's quite impressive, at least to me, so I'm wondering if anybody else thinks so too. Either way though, I think this is a pretty good time to wrap up this video. I know this one is likely quite lengthy. Pretty short BeamNG portion, but it doesn't really need to be long. I don't know what to do with this car. It's a daily driver for me, something I just drive in any circumstance, except when the bridge is out. I definitely try to avoid it then. Like, I drive my car in the winter, in the summer, all the time. It needs to be driven because I only have one car, so obviously I need to go places. I mean, no video of an Infiniti would be complete without me having to top up the oil at the end. So I'll go and do that, and I think I'll sign off for now. But hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this car in the comments and other builds. And yeah, if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I am hoping to move on to sandbox games a little bit in the future, but hey, we're playing one right now, aren't we? So yeah, let's go. I just want to take some time to thank those who have chosen to support this channel via the join button, specifically the advanced supporters. We've got Overlord, That Rice to Explore, QT Bear, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, 60 Cars and Stuff, Boris Ramirez, Jacob, Jug, and Battle Fox. Thank you guys for your support, and all of those guys who are supporters as well. I appreciate you a lot. This is I mean, it's small to you and it's small in the long term, but it really does mean a lot to me that you guys are willing to support me financially like this, and some of you for a long time too. Overlord, almost a full year. Appreciate it, guys. See you again next video. Okay, you caught me again. I'm still playing. I'm really enjoying this. Okay, now it's time to finish. That was good.